Good morning, XRC. This is Steve Nine, and I'm talking to you guys from Ecuador this morning. Um, just wanted to touch base and kind of give you guys a heads up, maybe a little bit on what to expect when you're coming into Ecuador. I apologize for the low quality of this video. First thing is, it all starts with prayer. You're going to get as much out of the trip as you put in. So I just want to encourage you to begin now, even before the trip. In the info packets that you've received or will be receiving, there's a list of things that you can be praying for, and I'd ask you just to begin praying now over your time. Another thing that's there's a page with just some information. Read over the information for packing and preparing. Planning for, preparing for, expecting and experiencing success, on our trip is what we're after. So as it says there, we just want to get prepared to share God's love with a child. So one of the first things you need to do, obviously, is you need to arrive at the airport 2 hours before departure time. Make sure it's at least 2 hours before. There's just nothing adds stress to an international trip like being late. And make sure you don't leave this at home. I did that again just recently. It happens all the time. So make sure you've got your gear. Ask everybody else around you that they have their passports as you head out. Another thing you want to have handy is your flight information as you'll be traveling. Normally everything's e-ticketed and all you need your photo ID, but it's good to have this info in case you need it. Be sure to check the size and weight allowances on your flight based on your ticket. And those little bag claim stubs that they stick on like the ticket jacket they give you that you end up often throwing away, do not lose those tickets. In the United States, nobody verifies that you actually have the claim stub for your bag, but here in Ecuador they may check that, and if you don't have the stub, you're going to have a hard time proving to them it's your bag that you're picking up at the baggage claim. So make sure you keep those and keep them handy. Be ready for TSA security. I think pretty much everyone's familiar with it now, but of course they're changing it all the time. My last trip I got in a line and they didn't want us to use buckets or take our shoes off or do anything. So just be ready for the best or the worst, and the little slide here tells us a little bit. Of course you can find out that information on TSA. When you get on the plane, they're going to give you two forms. On the flight from Miami to Guayaquil. One of those is going to look similar to this form. The newer version is a little bit longer. It's the immigration form. You're going to put your name on there, what country you're from, where you're coming from, when you were born, your passport number. They're also going to ask you for an address in country. You'll see here I have that listed. The address in country is Avenida 5 de Junio y Tres Cruces in Puerto Viejo, Manabí. That's actually my home address if you might need that. The other thing you're going to need to fill out, the second form, will be the customs form, and that's one per family. In this case, I guess everybody would have to fill out their own. After you deboard the aircraft, you're going to walk with the crowd down to immigration. So you'll just have your carry-on baggage, and you're going to stand in line. You're going to wait for an open booth. There will be a little sign there telling you which number to go to. You're going to just walk up with your passport and your immigration form, and they're going to put some stamps on there and probably ask you a couple simple questions. And you can just let them know you're here just to tourism and to visit some friends, and you'll be here for 7 days. Welcome to Ecuador. You're going to head out from there and you're going to go pick up your luggage. Go find your checked bags. They may be on the floor or on the floor, as it says here, around the bag carousel. Again, have your bag stubs handy in case you're asked to show them. You probably don't need the luggage carts since you're just coming for a week. If you do, they have a cost of $2 to rent those, $2 or $3, I forget. And there will be someone there you walk up and pay, and then you can pick one up if you need it. Once you've got your bags, you're going to just walk over and go through customs. When you get to the customs line, you're going to give the attendant your customs form. That was the second form you got on the plane. If you get a green light, you're just going to go right on through, If you get a red light, you're going to have to load all your bags and any items, purses, any personal artifact things. Anyway, you're going to need to pass them through a scanner, and they may ask you to open up a bag, but it's not a big deal. After you zip back up your bags and you get through that, then you just go on through. When you come out, you're going to come out to a big crowd of people, but just walk through the glass doors into the crowd and look for the smiling guy with your name. Hopefully it will be me and not this guy. But anyway. In Ecuador, we're going to be in two areas. There's places where it's cool and wet up in the mountains, and then there's areas where it's hot and sunny. As well, it can be hot, it can be sunny in the mountains, and the sun is quite intense because you're at high elevations. So you need to bring a jacket and a sweatshirt, for sure, a light jacket that can repel water and a sweatshirt to boot. Sometimes layers are good when you're in the mountains, because it'll be cold one minute and warm up the next. You bring a swimsuit, and make sure you bring some sunscreen. You'll need it even on the cold days. In the footwear department, bring a durable pair of shoes that can get dirty and can hold up. Sometimes the roads we're on are not real nice. But also bring a nice pair of shoes for when we need to dress up a little bit. A pair of sandals is also always good to have. I will ask you to bring some dress clothes for church. People in Ecuador like to dress up. Unlike XRC, I do wear a tie on Sundays, and you guys just might want to be dressed nice. Ladies, slacks are fine, and a nice blouse. You will have the ability to do laundry at a couple of points along the trip, so consider that in your packing. In preparing to come down, we're going to spend a lot of time ministering. And what I'd really like you to be able to do and prepared to do, to be able to share a simple devotional, either with the team or with others. Be prepared to give your testimony. How did you meet Christ, and what difference has He brought to your life? I'd ask you to be ready to pray for other people. There's going to be opportunities where people are going to come and they're going to ask us as a team to pray for them. And I want you to be ready to step out and pray for people. The other thing is there's going to be divine appointments that we're going to have. I remember one year in 2008 we had a team and we were in a park, and a couple of the people in the park just went up and started talking to a young man. He was actually on contract to go and kill someone, and he gave his heart to Christ, and we were able to connect him with some people, and we got him out of the city where he lived and down to a rehab center in another part of the country. So the Lord always schedules some divine appointments. That kind of goes back to our prayer. Be ready to do anything, even like you see John and Fernando on the floor here. Sometimes you even have to get on a dirty floor or sit on a dirty floor in order to minister to people. So just be ready to minister when you come. We'll be traveling in taxis, on buses, aircraft, and vehicles. So just be ready for that. The traveling is an adventure. Our lodging is an adventure. We'll be staying in some locations at hotels, some guest houses, and quite possibly my house on a couple of nights. Food will be great. Trout, guinea pigs, shrimp, lots of good meals and lots of good time together eating around meals. So bring your appetite and your sense of adventure. We're going to get to land in the city of Guayaquil and spend a few hours there on our inbound and our outbound. We'll also be going up to Alausi, which is at about 8,000 feet. It's the city on the left, you see. And if you look up at the high hills behind that, we'll go up into those high hills for about an hour and a half until we reach the picture you see on the right, which is the village of Cochaloma, which is at about a little over 12,000 feet. So we'll be spending time there in those rural areas. We'll also be going up to the city of Quito, absolutely gorgeous city of about 2 million people, high in the Andes Mountains, a little over 9,000 feet. Apart from that, we'll be down at the coast in Puerto Viejo, and you'll get to, when we're in Quito, actually visit the equator and also we're believing that we'll be able to get down and actually get in the Pacific Ocean as well. So be ready for the trip.